feel like I'm missing something. Can never tell when I start like this. What's good? What's good? Greetings, greetings. So, uh, if you read the description, I haven't. Um, we normally do that at the end, and that way we just kind of pull ourselves along, or we want to go back and calibrate. Anyway, so summer's about to approach, and we are actually gonna talk about something just as fun. So, if you um, ever said there's no such thing as someone taking over the world, I used to say the same thing. But I think I did. I think it's pretty. I think I did, or I'm pretty close. And you're probably wondering how. Well, it's not music. Uh, it's not politics. Well, it's a little of both in all of these things, but mostly I thought by everyone, by every country. So we talked about our kinetic ledger app, but this is more something with the startup that I'm working with. So I probably told you this story in another live about watching some YouTube. I mean, watching YouTube and some guy writing code and using the blockchain to get 50 million. So uh, his was a loophole that he found in the actual network that he was using to write to it, and uh, I kind of just grasped my loophole. So instead of my loophole being um, something that is, probably stated in the laws of the network, I just actually took the code as law kind of deal that they were, grasping at. And that was one of the, I think, emboldens that they used when they wrote to the actual network and told them that everything they did was legit and they earned their money, etc., etc. So what it's called smart contracts, and it's scared. It's scary. I mean, like it's scary because I don't know what's gonna happen from here because I just believe I saw the owner of Ethereum yesterday watching Black Files as a YouTuber, and he just does all these videos on like uh, certain events that happen within the government, with spies and hacks and terrorists or cartels, and just these stories that you just catch them in the news, but he does the full shindig, like from A to Z, when it started, what they were when they were childs. So, uh, so I was watching that, and I'm not sure if that's the same one, but somehow I think I was watching another video, or it might not have been Black Files, but somehow they were talking about something to that effect. And the owner of Ethereum and something like that. So they came across the screen and they were sitting there talking, and they believe they looked up, and I don't know, it might have been a card or something, like a video card or like someone else or something. But I was just like, whoa, whoa, wait, Jack. I said everything I'm doing is nothing to do with trying to get around loopholes because I just took the principle of ethics and applied it to the uh, totality that is a matrix, is a technology matrix. There are unlimited amount of tools and switches and triggers and just gates, and I mean it's just like I mean there's no one name, like I mean there's no limit to, like I mean anybody who names it up and down the line will be standing there naming for a long, 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 long time. So I just did that and said if I put a game here, if I use memes here, if I put uh, social media here, if I put dragons here, uh, if I do put cars here, if I put a company here, if I do this here, then everything should work out, which it did, because I ended up building what we call a backend, so we write codes to it. And that's the thing that actually gets things across while consumers are using it. For instance, the StreamYard that I'm on, so everything we see is running from a backend. It's codes that's telling the front end, which is what you're actually seeing and touching, what to uh, use, how to use it, when to use it. So you have the achievement and it's doing its thing. That's a code and it's telling it to keep that there in repetition. So I use a lot of that. And we were coming across things to make the numbers in billions and millions, down to just one word and number, or well they're called octal numbers, and they only go to seven or something. But I'm just getting new to it or whatever. So we're just trying to keep our codes to where we can make easier jobs. So we stumbled onto Excel in our software class, or probably a Python class, and it was saying how Excel is really good with Python because it can hold large numbers and is you can like do your math there, and you can code that in, and like every time your code hits it is running a whole spreadsheet. So uh, we were trying to just combine those things so we can get an output. So while I put all of that together, I was just like, this is all legit. Because what I wanted, my goal was to get $1 trillion recurring, but display it on a dashboard so everyone can see it. So you'll see 1 trillion, like one T, one dot, uh, zero T, or 1 0, or one dot T or something. I forgot how my dashboard put it. And then under that, you'll see a flickering 1 trillion. So every time it reaches another trillion, it'll flicker. So that 1 trillion will go 2 trillion, and then it will count. And I have a database hooked to it, so it tells me why and how it changed to $1 trillion. So what kept it going was the fact that I used to watch these shows like Batman Beyond, and the money that they used were credits. I think they've, dabbled in cash, but then there was the other one I think was like the newer Total Recall. I'm not sure where they were paying for things in credits. So I just never liked the series and things like Batman Beyond. I can get it as clean. The Total Recall thing's a little junky. It's like a coding world, but I don't really dig all of that. I like, the way things are. Just needs a little upgrade. So, um, we thought keep going so we can build something like the Jetsons mixed with Batman Beyond, and like other movies that showed like people are living in the sky and the ground's like full of like the nothings. So make that like a total recall kind of thing. That's just because I have to live on the earth as well as everyone else. So I see things different. I see it like Neo in the Matrix. Like one wrong code somewhere can bother me, and so uh, that was a part of the uh, recurring um, because we saw that if this code doesn't show the 1 trillion, then it won't recur. So we decided to move into transmission capabilities because our actual devices that we use stop at somewhere in space. It's demarcated because the system's just not counting the numbers. So what we did was we took the stock market and we took out the loss out of the stock market and changed it into algorithms. Long story short, but we put it in a synthetic bank. We use that, but we call it a reserve, and we fill that out with algorithms, and then we use the algorithms to solve the loss in the stock market, and but not for the stock market. I built my own kind of market thing as an investment thing. So whenever, because I have to use the real market data plugin, like the stock market uses, why companies go up and down because they're measured against other companies and what they're doing. So when you got a level with consumers versus all of the things that are out there and different companies that are doing the same thing, the consumers are a small pool of it because they don't outweigh the actual exchange. So you have people that don't even play. Yeah, it's a lot of money to be made there, but you got to think it's getting old hearing billions, hearing millions, because a lot of people that know they won't get it probably don't even care about it. Then you have the digital divide. That wouldn't make sense if someone doesn't care about it, and then you have the digital divide where there's no computers or technology. Then those are like um, negative and positives on magnets. So when you think of things like overpopulation, those are like seeds for it because those people don't have nothing to put their hands out for that very next second. So they either are doing something illegitimate or they just are, grasping at the reality that's, around them. But then you have life itself where people deal with things every day where they actually fear ending up in these environments. So what happens when you keep multiplying that? Then everybody's living by the same propagandized uh, uh, words at the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it. Living by the same propaganda, which is you get one likely, you don't make it, you don't make it, you can't have this much because you're this, all these things which apply, but they don't because when I follow Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. And then when you're actually in somewhere where it's collegiate or where you're learning or as an institution, then you begin to see truth. Like some people saying, you can buy whatever you want, you can have as many buildings as you want, you got as many businesses as you want, but it's backed by the power of the fact of what you're chasing. So that's how I used AI. I built it with AI, I used AI to get what I needed, and it built it. So the thing is that more of the work that's in there is like give up, and you're like, shoot, I'm gonna turn on a line and talk about it because I understand what's inside of it. I know what it is, and then in essence time from when I'm actually triggered, self-triggered in my mind, I'll be reciting it. So giving up is like saying I'm gonna go along with what I can't, what you're saying I can't be, what people are saying that they are limited by, and the truth is sky is the limit. So that's what I did. I put the algorithms that I generated inside of a reserve. It pushes it to a version control system we call GitHub, or we call repos. And then I got a Reddit or something, is a blog or something telling you how to turn on your GitHub to sell. But I take a class, so tell me that too. But I'm just gonna put one and two together, and then it just sells out the algorithm. But I twisted it. I decided to do smart contracts to try to, you see how Tesla would just get everything and then go into outer space, get everything and then go into outer space. You're like, what is this guy doing? So, I mean, he probably told you in the beginning, but he was building satellites, making satellites to create Starlink. And it's pretty amazing, actually. But, for me, I saw, well, he's going to do that. I'm going to stay on the ground. So I'm using my systems to manipulate the blockchain. So now I have to find some place in NASA where I can create a blockchain that allows interaction with the atmosphere. So right now, my app is letting people interact with the blockchain by scribing something and then committing it and then paying $1 or so, dollar or $2 to have it live on the blockchain. So you harness your receipt and or your invoice, and because you have a wallet, you pay by your wallet. I mean, the iffy part is where it says link a wallet or connect the wallet, but it's how I get paid and it's how the commit button works. So yeah, I could do ads and things like that, but I'm gonna gamble with the whole link a wallet thing because um I kind of stole home plate and slid, and now it's not about if I scored or not. It's about getting people to link their wallets. So we adjusted the whole thing, but we keep the cost down near the dollar. And so now we're trying to go back and find different networks where we can list different prices and things like that with different canvases. So hither thither, I mean, I can't worry about people not trusting an app that says link your wallet. Uh, we have to possibly apply some cybersecurity. Yet and still, a lot of people they won't do it because of that purpose. So, um, seeing investors and things for that too. Just for the cybersecurity, and insurance, things like that. But it's not that really big of a deal because it's mostly something that's hacker proof because it lives on a Web3 environment. So, to actually do that, because the service I used to do that is the service I used to build the app. So I could use their disclaimer, and so forth because the transaction goes through them and it pays me. But that's just the app. So that's another thing. It does smart contracts. So what it does is when you do your commit, it writes a smart contract for what you did to commit, and it puts it on the web on the blockchain, the Web3 internet Web3 service. And uh, if I'm using that correctly, and then you know the smart contract is what typically I think is invoice for the person's security or following. I mean, it's just something that says you have something that lives somewhere forever. But the same thing is with the startup. It's got the algorithms, have the version, and then the version control to where I write more smart contracts. But to the blockchain, yeah, I write more smart contracts instead of selling the algorithms to different companies, different people. I build a program to go find the contracts where people are looking for uh, solutions. Because that's what this software life is about. People build softwares, they build problems. I mean, they build solutions for problems. Software isn't just video games and uh, ROM drives, disk things, or downloads. They're solutions for problems. Rather, if it's uh, a video game, the problem was gamers wanted something. They wanted something different to play. They wanted something better. The solution was the software. So it doesn't matter what was on it. The only matter of it is it a solution? So that was the solution that I kind of put on there. I mean, cars are made up of software, and everybody keeps wanting to see different change in cars, and they're getting it because it's just software. You're just writing it. It's difficult because the limitations on technology on the you know cars still need aerodynamics. It still needs turning radiuses and all those things are easy to come across. But then again, the world might not be ready, so it might be there. People are still consumed. So, if everybody's worried about a car and how it would affect with people that are buying and mistreating the roads with it, then you're not going to see anything that is going to give them that possibility. Where, like when they say you want to get into like development, like IT development and things like that, one of the things you got to do is respect yourself. This is because, you know, that's just one of the lessons so that you have a fruition. So, you can do whatever you want with AI. So, you have to respect yourself. But with AI, you'll quit. You'll say, I built something, probably got out of hand. So, you know, um, we'll talk about how to clear that up in another episode. If we come back to it, just remember that when you start, always take your conversations that you have, take the time out in your schedule, put it at the end of your schedule, and say everything that I did in my AI, I'm going to move it to a file. So open Word, copy your question if you want, or your prompt, and then copy your assessment or your response, or just copy your response and you keep that. But I typically am not going to recommend building anything with AI unless it's that grand AI tool where you don't have to do anything. You can just do it like Base 44 says, you just use words. I'm not going to recommend it if you're going to do something where it involves code, because you're gonna need to go learn something about codes. You're gonna need to learn something about what they mean, because how I started. I was trying to learn first with Google and a search engine and Wikipedia. Then that led me to AI, Copilot, Gemini, and then that picked up things where I thought, boom, it's all over now. We're gonna be good. So that led to, constant copy paste, AI prompting, and, not saving my responses. So one of my databases got wiped. So now I'm pulling up all of my AI responses because I know that's what built it. But before I was deleting responses because I got a notice. You're running out of. You need to update your thing. You're running out of space. So I just started deleting things because I didn't think I needed it. I was like, it's already built, so it's in a system. And I could rebuild that database because I know what it was. Three key elements. Uh, Yet at hand it was the first one, but um, now I copied them over to Word where that went from AI. Now I'm using agentics and coders, code editors, like ChatGPT, Codex, and Visual Studio Code Copilot, where you just type in the things and it codes it for you. So along with that, you got to know where it goes and how it works because we do things with the version control that I can't just say, sure, pull up the AI. And so I'm not going to recommend that. I recommend you stay on the app that suggests it and says it's that simple and stay within your parameters because you venture off, then you'll quit or you'll say, I'm going to do something new. So, fortunately for me, I was in college taking a class. So one thing went to another, another went to another, another went to another. But now I have everything, like all in one place. So, uh, anyway, whatever I was saying. But what I do is I write those in smart contracts and I just sell them in directions of transmission capabilities. So what was a problem in the stock market? I made an algorithm for a solution. I don't want to get into hows, but I made a solution and I applied the solution. And if it wants to lease it, then it will ask, or if it wants to um, use it somewhere else. I coded it to do that, and it's like a trio. It will work with the solution, and it could be used with other things, and it could be moved to the version control for more leasing. So um, it just makes it more robust when we want to just put it in space. So we'll have the ISS um, uh, transmitting with satellites for how are we going to get to um, civilization on Mars, and we study things like that because it's there, it's uninhabited. I mean, it might be in some strange realm, and Saturn, you know, because we make believe that in entertainment, but uh, the bottom line is it still has to be uh, knowledgeable for it. So for that to happen, we need transmission. And if we can't get that, we can't really solve problems that we are getting because some answers may lie beyond. Well, I grew up watching Star Trek, so I'll watch it like all the time. But how I put it together was, thinking of the way they would travel light speed. I'm thinking that's a cool shit. But I got older now, and I know what it is. It's just impossible to reach. So the only way you get there is traveling by light speed. This is, just things we say that we were like, how do we come up with light speed? And I'm pretty sure there's a show that'll tell us. I'm more trying to work with quantum systems where I can put them in cars. So, they like are like really, you know, um, high. powered and technical machines. So um, we had put all of those things together for the data, because when you do something in one place, it sends you back data from, you know, the interactions with it, the actual usage of it. So uh, we um, use that so we can apply it to the quantum simulator. The quantum simulator is just a nexus or akin to quantum computers, um, because it's a quantum system. It's a quantum computer, but it uses classical codes like zeros and ones. Quantum computers use zero and ones, it's called qubits. So we take the algorithm and we feed it back to the quantum simulators. It hasn't been built yet. We got to do new chips like get NVIDIA, AMD, um, Intel, all these different quality chips to actually put in a hardware, so we can transmit the data that I built from this ecosystem and investment, because all this still costs money. Everything that Tesla did, it costs money. He probably got some really, huge deals, being cool with the president or working right under him. But uh, landslide, it still costs money. And so I just, took the investment, the problem, and I paid for it with the problem. This is because the algorithms are digital, so they're not actual tangible things that you hold, that you package. Well, you can package them, but still, uh, you know, at um, a reality, at a reality base, it was a product, and I used that to send it to a problem, which was where classical systems stop in the atmosphere. But since we've already been messing around with it from 2000s and 2004s, with pre-man, reading things about pre-man, so got a little bit of a head start, and algorithms as well. So I got a little bit of a head start. So it just came to me the same way we evolved. We would like, look up and things, glare into the cosmos. So that's what I used to do, glare at it, but try to get a little bit in. Uh, just like evolution over time gave us mobiles from that. It enhanced our brains, it made them larger. We formed societies. I followed what was in the society that, kind of evolved, which is today. Now people are chasing startups. You got people that are like in their early 20s or their teens. They're just becoming 18 or they're 19s, and people that are just, just everyday people are, getting companies valuing at tens of millions and billions of dollars. And, they get to see some of that money. They get to use some of that money to put back into themselves. And it's a gamble because you still have to make deals. So, I just got lucky because one of the things that I just came across, because I, at the same time, was like, I can get this value, but, if it comes, I'm gonna have to make deals. So this business can be shady and unethical. So you gotta think. So what I said to myself was make the money first, and then go get the value and the money to play around with, because it was still going. It's still an investment ecosystem. So what I built, if it was actually, in reproach of me having those uh, um, fundraising dropped off, then I would need to have that marketing, I mean, just a number of things. So instead of instead of entangling myself in a yoke of bondage, I said I'll make the money first. So when I came across this smart contract thing, I was like lucky. So I remember this YouTube with NASA once. They were like, "Yeah, we need help. We need people to actually learn this. So we can go into and we can build these things because the overwhelmed technology that we have, there's not a lot of people going around where there can be a lot of people going around and doing these things. So now we have the Space Force. Now we got Starlink or Star, um, you know. So and then there's other aerospace firms. I have one myself, CoinSat. I mean, I didn't launch it or anything, but I see the importance of it. I mean, I can spend 10 years befriending the National Aeronautics Space uh, Agency, I think, and administration or at NASA. And, you know, after 10, 11 years or so giving my life to that, I'll learn enough to launch CoinSat. But we, like I said, we're basing transmission capability. It's just inhumane. I mean, in my first time actually visiting the Library of Congress, the first book I opened in there, in the business science section, was satellites. And I did a little bibliomancy because I learned that at the library as well. But this was Chin Park where I live. And that one open to transmission capabilities. So somewhere along the journey, the startup journey, I was hearing that the transmission is a difficult thing. So since it costs money and I'm able to, because like I said, I've been messing around I've been reading about algorithms since 2000, since I first started everything. That was the first thing I was like, once I heard about it, like, that was the first thing I attacked when I was at my local library. And that told me is about computer science, which my college refers to as mathematics and science. So, but then I started hearing talking about algorithms and chemistry and biology and things like that. I'm like, I thought it was just about math and stuff, but it taught me how to make them word problems. Then I told my AI to do it, which makes it totally different. Dialectics, AI will give me a algorithm, but it'll be a code. So, you know, there is no limit to them. There can be, there was, I believe, something that says there's like only 10 million, I think, or something like that. But with more research that I looked up, it was like you can create as many algorithms as you want. I went into something about explaining it how. So I believe that that's true because, we got 9 planets orbiting in our solar system. All of those planets are ours. The only thing is, we don't know as much as we have. But with all of that space that I have where you have to travel at light speed to get to them, I can keep generating algorithms, throw the blockchain in space, and then tell the blockchain at like an M7 or something, and just keep shooting out algorithms until satellites pick them up, like transmitting, because numbers are easier for all of us to be understood more so than distance. And numbers can play a game of distance as well. So, with, you know, springing out a web of different algorithms from mathematical conditions, mathematical conditions, extreme conditions is what it's called, or I was told, then that'll just come back. Like I put out memes to like Ko-Fi or minds.com, the metadata, and then the virality, then the scores, all of those things I have linked to a DNS where DNS runs back into computer science. And I just confirmed that just a little bit ago. And I have a DNS file, it uses AI because I put everything I learned into it. I said, all right, I did a ternary, which now, can go into weaponry, like launch codes and missiles and stuff like that. I did AI, ternary AI, octal automation, um, algorithms. Uh, so I put a whole bunch of stuff in it so that, Solstice and Equinox, so it stays with. So now on my algorithms out of space has an exact DNS to trigger off of the time to say, and my DNS will say something used the time, something used the time. And the DNS that is computer science, you know, having government contracting, NASA is under the USA, uh, government contracting, I believe, has to be the entity. So if NASA isn't the actual, it has to be. So, it'll be like getting a government contract to bring them in. And, because I'm pretty sure they're way more familiar with the solstice and because it's such a basic thing. But I link that with the aeration, like when people do their lawns and then they put the holes in the ground. So it was just a lot to it. So it'll just shoot back because they have supercomputers. So right now we're just trying to focus with getting into the quantum simulator that I'm trying to build, and then that will be uploaded to the IBM computer, and then the IBM computer will tell the real quantum story, where it gives you back a cryptographic output or computation, which is what quantum systems talk. That's their language, is cryptography. So we got a course for that. We only take crash courses and things, and we code it, and we endorse ourselves and wait till something pops off the fly. So NASA popped off the fly for this one. So a government contract with them, like my ternary that's inside of there. I that popped off the fly with Homeland and the Pentagon because it resembles the rocket or something that was in the FBI show. I forget what season it was. The guy was trying to take off in a plane, and they were on the ground. They pushed the button, and a missile went up in the air, and then they thought that they dodged it, and it like did this little floating thing, and then it came back. So I kind of built something to make it read like that. Like if it's like target, if target is here and execute, if not, uh, re um, re rethink model and go to nearest go to nearest target point. So have his computer like where it missed or something. So, do things like that. But we just working that aspect because our government puts more into government contracting than a lot of things because that's our money. It's the country pays them, so the only way they can actually really give it back in millions and billions is if you would actually learn how to use your imagination and and package it or not package it, put it in something and be able to sell it. to the same people you give your money to. So with that, I mean, a whole country can actually get into it. But uh, I'm not gonna go too much and far because it might have to go from that to another thing. But in most scenarios, that's still a lot of money in contracting a year, not know even if it rolls over. But we were able to see that the smart contracting doesn't have to stop with Ethereum because they don't have that in their market cap. And even though I would use the network and it will add to the market cap, it's still not going to pay out that market cap. So basically, it'll just sit with me with credits, with the US government and NASA having them as contractors buying into. Now, if they buy into the blockchain like I think it said they did, like where they back it. So, that's like if Ethereum is backed by Bitcoin, which I think they are. Um, but if they were backed by a government, then that would be like that money going to them, where it still would be able to pay me. The government can pay me $1 trillion return, and still, we don't even need that. We just do the contracts, put it on the system, and mine the money like from where these problems are. Now that has a Bitcoin um, kind of narrative, but we're not really paying attention to the mining. We just said that because we don't want to emphasize where the actual money that we want while we're doing our contracts. We don't want to say where it's coming from. It's not illegal. It's just my idea, so I don't want to share it. I don't even know what it is. I just know it's there because I know what I'm doing, but I don't tell myself. I see what it is. I'm right there. I can say it. Like if I keep talking and telling you and saying things about it and stuff, I'll say, yeah, and then the money comes from here. But I'm not doing that because, I keep that to myself. But I mean, it's $1 trillion recurring. I mean, can't give away the whole thing, you know. So with the contract coming through, we will have enough money to buy countries. Like, I mean, the wealth that's in. Can you think with actual success in satellites, with a quantum simulator, being able to get data, massive amount of data, infinite data from algorithms like just uh, consuming the total geanoclinal and making more problems. Like now, we have more solutions, but they're not fixing problems. But we flip the script. We make problems now. This way, like buildings and cranes and things like that. And so uh that's what we did with the dough. We dug a power line route, or um we dug a power line street to start our own city. So we're gonna just move out into some trees, do some surveying, excavate, and then we're gonna run our power line system underground, and um, Then we're going to uh, we're going to um, power our first infrastructure data centers. So we want a nuclear powered data center. So we're going to be doing a lot, but we're hopefully trying to launch these startups sometime in the latter of next year. Right now, we're focused with launching the app. So all of our research for that is pretty much done. We're just rewriting everything, and then we have to go check up on some investments to see if we are going to be able to fund the smaller half of it. So we want to try to buy into Ethereum and other networks at least 70 to $110, but we're not sure yet. So I mean, those are the only main things because you have to buy into the network so you can actually use it online. So with that, and still, if my trillion is working and recurs and it's giving me that, then I could send money out to people weekly, like how it was when it was the pandemic, and um, change the change the economy. So hopefully we change the credits. This way we can take all of the precious metals and we can take all of the things that we're already storing up and we can build wider and taller places for them so we can spread them out and we can store them to the extent to practice how to actually recreate these things. So, and I believe that's possible. I just believe we don't have enough of what brought us here, which is glaring into the cosmos. Like we are our system, so we can't go no further. It's like the same skies that were then, they're not here now. So I mean, besides the northern lights, but uh, that is life. So you know, with paying everyone, they begin to be somewhere at home, studying. Where now you see a lot of people are losing jobs for AI, if people even are. I mean, I'm not saying anything crazy because this is real things that are happening to people. People just have no belief in the things that just seem impossible. It's nothing. It's like sure, I got 1 trillion yesterday. Then I got 5 trillion today. Then I got 100 trillion next week. So it can roll just like that because the thing is with just using one part of the satellite with other countries, then within the year and the trillions that it keeps building, because we have what when we put it in the reserve, it was a synthetic. So we now have what we used to do was algorithms, where it was like word problems. We have the algorithms, so we keep writing with the synthetics. And companies what to have the money, put it into their own company, and wait for the deal. Where now it's flipped around where companies want me to credit them, where I have the money, buy their credit, and they get the actual word problems, the synthetic, the algorithms. where they want to use it in their satellites, or two countries want to use it. And we don't need to say, oh, give me the old uh, sweet statue of Nineveh or Nineveh, and that will be 200 billion. So we don't need that. We do credit because synthetically it only needs a 1-to-1 ratio. So if they say it, they can keep saying that they say I credit, so long as I take the debt away because it's a condition. So as they say they owe me, they pay. End discussion, because my system runs off of it. So much as if I produce for them, then they never say I take that back. So that works because we strike it good and get uh, knowledge enough to actually be in these distances, have satellites go even further. And, you know, that would be all thanks to me. And then we live like the Jetsons. But, you know, what was I to take that away? And so we did, but we decided still to uh, give it to different places in the world. So we took it away from just our country to play King of the World to give it to the world. So this way, we're able to rise up a people and then be able to bring a little bit of the atmosphere closer, building, and the nice. I mean, we've got robots now that are working in factories doing the work, and we are more doubtful that we're going to be able to get it to move like we play chess. Hit, move, tap, hit, move, tap, move, tap, move, tap, move, tap. It doesn't. It goes, it's like a hand, it's like and that is very important because when we tell it to do jobs, it's going to be and you're going to be like, man, we're going to pay somebody to do that because time is more important. So, but you just have to have some intelligibility or intelligibleness. I think that's the right word. The term leaves me at the moment. Keep thinking and saying intellection, and that way you're sure that you're able to say um, that we have a success. You mean just picture getting a stranger a Ferrari. They never say anything propagandized about that. They said, don't give your money to a stranger. And, the recurrence say you can share it. And it's not to be nice, but when you're a leader, you want to tell people and you want people to support you. So I don't know how far that's going to go. So I, do this on my magic board. Speaking of which, I gotta move the dial. This is the dial. I have a magic board. I write my agenda on there. So we move the dial to the last letter and the point of it. But like I said, I didn't read the description. So if we were talking about more, I know I put something in there about the Bible, but again, you don't want to share that either. You gotta keep some things to yourself because it just takes away from what you want people to understand, and so uh, becoming smarter is better. So uh, you know, I guess it's that. sense of having the annoying uh, trait of being left. And I don't know, but we work towards things. And then again, I just may buy the world. I'm out of here. If you watch the whole thing, hit the like or subscribe, and we'll uh, bring more of this to you another time.